All right. Injury update, nothing to report there. So ready when you guys are.
We'll go ahead and get started with Nate.
Hey, Shane, as you went back through the film from yesterday, do you still feel good about Jonathan Taylor's role and kind of how you used him, or are there some things you kind of want to do differently?
Yeah, he had the big first half, and then looking back at the second half, watching the tape last night and again this morning, we started, backed up there on the 14, had the one run with them, got to a 2nd and 9, had a false start, went to 2nd and 14, threw it there, got to 3rd down, and then didn't convert, and then we got it backed up again and went with Zach in that next series, and he popped the one run, and then we got the, Mo Alley Cox over the ball to get the first, and then he popped the run, and then got the 3rd down where he popped the big one, and then we went on the ball tempo there, so didn't sub there, and then we had the turnover there, the interception, and then when we got in the fourth quarter, we were down 2 scores there. Could there have been an opportunity, for a run there? Yeah, absolutely. So just always evaluating everything, and we'll continue to do that.
James?
Shane, obviously I'm not a coach, but what is it like in the game where you're trying to make in-game adjustments when you see the team is obviously going after Tony Brown Jr., having success against him, but I don't know, you might have practiced something all week and know that maybe you can't change it on a whim. So what is that balance like of sticking with what you know, but also seeing or maybe kind of contemplating, okay, do we make a change here or there, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, more safe, help over the top, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think those in-game adjustments, those conversations with myself and Gus and those guys on the sideline are good. And I got a ton of faith in our defense and Gus and what he's doing. And we just got to clean some things up, and we got to be detailed on all the details, moving forward, so we can be at our best going forward for November and December.
Steven?
Hey Shane, I don't imagine that you like change approaches just because you lose a few games, but when you do have kind of a streak like this, that's a negative streak. I mean, what are the challenges from a coaching perspective when it comes to messaging or whatever? Just trying to kind of get a different result, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Steven. I think, I've been around this league as long as some of these other coaches have, but, I've been a part of some streaks where, I've started off 0-4, 0-5 as an assistant, and 2-5, and, had lost 3 in a row. And I think the biggest thing is the message to the players is just the communication and the details moving forward, so we can be at our best going forward and win these tight games. And I think, when you win one, you can, create some momentum and get on a roll. So that was the message to the team this morning. And we got to carry out with that message and have a great week of preparation and, go get it done in Carolina.
Yeah.
Shane, when you've got, one runner in Zach Moss, who's had such a great start to the season, he's second in the league in rushing, yet Jonathan Taylor is sort of a different animal. How do you make sure one guy gets, how do you sort of balance out when one guy is proven to be a game breaker more than the other one? How do you still balance that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Chap. I think, throughout the game, we have stuff that, JT's tagged on, same thing with Moss. And then, like I said, we try to ride the hot hand, but, JT is a big time playmaker and he's continuing to improve every single week. And obviously you saw it there in the first half. And we'll continue to evaluate those things going forward and making sure we got the guy that we want in at the right time.
A quick follow-up with and again, it's 8 games, so it's not a small sample size, but you guys have run the ball much, much better first half than second half. Is it just situational? I mean, it's almost 2 yards a carry. Is there anything you can point to?
No, I think sometimes, in the flow of the game, you always look back at that and you always go, there's certain games where you're like, shoot, you always get asked like, hey, sometimes you don't start fast. Like, hey, what's the key to starting fast? And sometimes it's execution. And, and that could flip next week. The run game could be really great in the second half and the pass game might be really good in the first half this week. So, you just go through those things and you learn from them. And obviously you got to go out and execute at a high level.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Kevin?
Shane, how do you guys handle running back play time? Is that something you try to decide during the week, or you let DeAndre handle that on game day?
Yeah, we talk throughout the week. I think DeAndre does a heck of a job with those guys, rotating those guys in and out. And like I said, JT, going into week 4 now, going into week 5, he's coming along pretty well. And so we'll evaluate that this week as well.
So ultimately you let DeAndre do that on game day?
Yeah, and then I'll tag the plays that I want them in. If I want them in there, I put them in there. Yes.
Greg?
Hey Shane, I got two questions. First one is, you weren't here last year. I know that, but Reich had a game where he called 26 straight passes and confessed afterwards, if that's the right word, that he didn't realize it. Did you realize as the game is ending that Taylor touched the ball one time and never again in the second half? Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah, I
And
was
you were
aware of
okay
it.
with that?
Yeah, like
You
I
were
said,
okay.
yeah, like I said, just sometimes the flow of the game will kind of dictate how it's called there. You know, you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. Could I pop the run in there? Absolutely. But I decided to throw it there towards the end.
Okay, second question. You're an attacking guy on offense, at least I think you are. Are you happy with your passive defense? I know it's what you inherited. Is this who you want to be going forward?
I think with anything, you know, you got to evaluate everything. And I got a ton of faith in our defense and our defensive line, our linebackers and our DBs and Gus Bradley going forward. And I have no doubt that this thing will get turned around.
Joel?
What? How much influence do you have on the defensive side of the ball? Do you mostly leave it to Gus? Like, how much do you guys?
Yeah, myself and Gus, we talk throughout the week, but I got a ton of faith in Gus. You know, obviously kept Gus here because I believe in what he does, and got a ton of faith in him.
Couple more, George?
Shane, how frustrating is a 1-4 start at home? And most of those have been close games. Do they feel like missed opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just finishing games. I mean, we're in all these games, but we got to find a way to finish these games. You know, we finished a few early in the season, and now that we're getting into the second half of the season, is stay on the grind. You know, we're a young football team, and understanding that we got a lot of football ahead of us, and the preparation, the routine, staying on the details, staying on the fundamentals. And like I said, you know, you win one of these, and you know you can get on a roll here. You know, in November and December.
James?
Shane, trade deadline tomorrow. Do you anticipate any moves being made by the Colts?
Yeah, that stuff I'll leave up to Chris and his staff going forward. Yeah.
I had to ask, I know.
Yeah, I got you.
Last question for Coach Kevin.
And I know it's not until next week, but do you guys plan on practicing here before heading over to Germany? What's the plan for next week in terms of travel?
Yeah, we'll be here, and then we'll leave to Germany on Thursday, the week of the game.
Thursday after practice?
Yeah,